This is Brian from Cantech, bringing you Canada's tech landscape. Here we have Tom and Chris. Thanks for having Chime here.
Thanks for having us.
Terrific. And first question I had for you was, what brings you here to our event?
Well, we've been working, the working group with Toronto and Canada's tech community for 13 years now. We work with startups, small to medium enterprises, building software, designing software, and hopefully helping them grow in the way that we're seeing a lot of the great technology companies in Canada do right now.
Terrific. So you really have a broad scope of kind of the tech scene here. Have you noticed any changes from the last 5 years to now, and maybe if you can project 5 years from now?
There's definitely a coming of age, I think, of Toronto's tech community. I think we were there sort of during the nascence and sort of saw it being born. What does the future hold? I think things like Shopify are an inkling of the future, where there's more Toronto and Canadian companies going public, making names for themselves, and I think subsequently feeding back into the industry and, you know, drawing more money, drawing more talent into the industry, hopefully.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I have a take on that too. I would say that this is the new wave of Canadian startups. There have been Canadian startups obviously for decades, and so in the 2000s we were doing a lot of B2B. We had a lot of success. We had a lot of big exits, but the kind of things that your average person on the street wouldn't have heard of and wouldn't be able to name the names of. Whereas consumer tech and consumer visible tech, Shopify again, great example, is becoming more prevalent now. Achievers obviously is probably touching more people than a lot of the old sort of B2B tech hit. In the future, where does it go? I don't know. Hopefully we all enjoy consumer tech. It's fun, the sort of B2C, big visibility, high volume, high eyeballs that Silicon Valley's dominated. We'd love to see more of that here, but then Internet of Things, maybe that's the next wave. There's a lot of strong talent from Waterloo that is actually stopping that brain drain down to the US now. They're sticking around in Canada. The Waterloo-Toronto corridor is probably going to be a stalwart in that one for the coming 5 years.
Absolutely. So kind of summarize, you're seeing kind of a big progression in the Canadian tech scene compared to the rest of the world. Now, obviously, the rest of the world is also kind of stepping up their game compared to the rest of the world as well regarding the tech scene. Now, more so an isolated question. We come from a Bitcoin-based background, so Bitcoin and blockchain technologies. Being in the perspective of, in you, have you seen any kind of companies come through your guys' program, or even some developments, or even if you don't, if you see that there's no development in Bitcoin? Any thoughts on that?
Well, we're working with two companies right now directly related to Bitcoin. Can't technically name them as existing clients, but one of them is around creating a better model for visualization and prediction of data for the finance industry, but with a more modern take. So Bitcoin being front and center as opposed to just a sideline like it is on the existing Bloombergs of the world. The other one is more in the entertainment sector and using Bitcoin as the primary payments mechanism, and that's clearly something that's going to be taking off, assuming Bitcoin doesn't crash and burn horribly like we all think it might do.
Any thoughts?
No, just to echo what Tom says. It's enough of a thing that we are working with those companies. So it's an emerging market still, but it's heading towards the mainstream, I think.
Gotcha. And I got one last question for you guys, more so a trivia question. So Bitcoin price has been hovering roughly around 250 American dollars, which is a great thing because people state that volatility is a negative for Bitcoin. This time next year, where do you predict Bitcoin's price will be?
126. 126 American dollars. 50% decrease, yep. The recent issues around blockchain forking, I think, is not doing great things for internal confidence in it, and internal confidence signals the external. I think the majority of the startups and the majority of the investments in companies that we see coming through these days are more interested in blockchain than Bitcoin per se.
I'm not as pessimistic as Tom, so I'm gonna say.
Lose any money on it.
Maybe like 180, something like that.
180. So
Yeah.
still within the same.
Yeah.
Oh, terrific. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Pleasure.
Cheers for now.
Thanks, Brian.
Cheers for now.
Cheers.